In 2019, some wrestlers spent their time on Raw, some spent their time on SmackDown, and a few others spent their time behind bars. It was a rough year for some current and former WWE stars, and as it comes to an end, let's revisit the wrestlers who were arrested in 2019. The year started off strong for Jeff Hardy, but it didn't take long for things to go downhill. In February, Jeff's brother Matt returned, and the Hardy Boys were reunited again. Then, about 2 months later, they won the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Things were looking good for Jeff Hardy, but shortly after the championship victory, the charismatic Enigma was sidelined with a leg injury. While recovering, Hardy was arrested in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for public intoxication in July. He was released the same day and posted a $153 bail. While that's bad enough, about 3 months later, in October, Brother Nero was taken into custody again. Police charged him with driving while impaired, in addition to driving with a revoked license. It was also reported that Jeff's blood alcohol concentration was over 3 times the legal limit. Currently, Hardy is scheduled to appear in court on January 13th. Another tag team also had its fair share of difficulties in 2019. In February, Jimmy Uso and his wife Naomi were pulled over after they'd been driving the wrong way on a one-way street in Detroit, Michigan. Uso, who was intoxicated, got out of the vehicle, took off his shirt, and squared up with the police. An officer pulled out a taser and told the former SmackDown Tag Team Champion to lay down, which he did. Jimmy Uso was then arrested and charged with disorderly conduct and obstruction. Then in July, while WWE was touring in Florida, Uso was stopped by an officer for speeding. The report said he smelled of alcohol and refused a DUI test. He was later taken to the Escambia County Corrections Center and eventually released on a $1,000 bond. However, in December, Jimmy Uso was not found guilty of the charge. Ironically, Jimmy's second arrest happened just 3 days after John Cena said this.
Respect for calling me out, but ain't no way I'm getting bested. Y'all look just like your mugshots. How was it getting arrested?
Some of you may not be familiar with them, but the Berserker wrestled in WWE from 1991 to 1993. Over 25 years after leaving the company, the 6'8" wrestler found himself in custody in March of 2019. He's arrested in Hennepin County, Minnesota on 2 counts, one of which was a felony charge. The first was a DUI, and the second was driving after his license had been canceled due to him being deemed unable to safely control his vehicle. In July, prosecutors argued for Berserker to be given a 4-year prison sentence, while the defense pointed out that the former WWE wrestler has ALS and is confined to a wheelchair. The judge ultimately sentenced Berserker to 5 years of probation under the condition that he stay in restrictive housing and doesn't drive. I'm noticing that the second and third months of the year were a prime time for wrestlers to have run-ins with the law. In February, WWE Hall of Famer Sunny was arrested after, coincidentally enough, driving the wrong way on a one-way street and also driving past a stop sign in New Jersey. Police discovered soon after that the original diva had a suspended license and 2 outstanding warrants for her arrest. She was taken into custody and has been incarcerated for at least 5 months. Sunny was scheduled to have a hearing on August 22nd, but no news came of it, so either she's on parole or still behind bars. Goldust's former manager and wife, Marlena, received a Class 3 felony in May. While going through a security checkpoint at the Tampa International Airport, a TSA agent detected a firearm in the former Hardcore Champion's bag. The report stated that it was a loaded 9mm handgun. Marlena said she forgot she had the weapon, and had been using it to remove animals, like armadillos, from her mother's yard. Nevertheless, she was arrested, but was released the same day on a $2,000 bond, and a month later, the charges were dropped. Here's to hoping that 2020 is nicer to everyone. Thank you for supporting Tap Out Corner in 2019, and I'm looking forward to creating more fun videos in the new year. While the new content gets put together, give the video on the right a watch. And with that, I'm Zach from Tap Out Corner, and take it easy.